Permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Governor, Ado-Ekiti State, Dr. John Kayode Fayemi. You are very much welcome to our minister. Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Governor Rotimi Chibuke Amechi. Your Excellency, you are very much welcome to our minister.
For me, it is a pleasure to welcome you to today's event, which is the initiation of stakeholders workshop for the Ekiti State peer review mechanism. I want to especially welcome my brother, the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, and also the chairperson and members of the FPRM Steering Committee to the Land of Honor. You're most heartily welcome. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of our development partners here. As you may all be aware, many of them, particularly the DFID and the UNDP, have been dependable allies in our quest to make poverty history since the inception of this administration. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in my inaugural speech to Ekiti people on 16th October 2010, I promised to make a permanent dent on poverty through a robust implementation of our roadmap to prosperity, growth, and development in Ekiti State. The roadmap that is popularly known as the 8-point agenda. Item 1 on the agenda is aimed at improving democratic governance through the enhancement of citizen participation and transparent accountability, motivating our citizens with ideas for better productivity, and creating an intellectual ban for policy formulation and implementation. To achieve this, our immediate target at inauguration was to build a virile, efficient, effective, dedicated, value-based, and result-oriented civil service with a view to improving its capacities and abilities at service delivery. Our desire is to create an institutional structure that enables public service bodies to deliver public goods and services in accordance with their mandates and with integrity, transparency, and accountability. I am convinced that it is in the best interest of the populace that the public service should continuously showcase results and achievements instead of efforts and intentions. This is what we seek to achieve with this process. To complement our determination to ensure improved service delivery and leverage on the achievement of our various reform initiatives, the NGF and its development partners made a presentation to the Ekiti State Executive Council on Wednesday, 7th September 2011 on the SPRM process. The Council subsequently gave its approval for the commencement of the process, and we're here today, less than 2 months after the Council's approval, to kickstart the Ekiti SPRM. It may interest you to note that Ekiti State is the only state in the Southwest chosen for this first phase of the exercise. As many may also be aware, I shall soon commence my town hall and village square meetings with all communities in the state as a mark of my fulfillment of the electoral promise that every stakeholder will have an input into the budget making and performance tracking processes in Ekiti State. The objective is to facilitate, for want of a better word again, a bottom-up approach in budgetary preparation as opposed to the existing top-down mechanism which has proved unproductive and unprofitable to both the government and people over the years. It is my own desire that information gathered at the various town hall and village square meetings and this workshop will be useful in helping us to finalize the 2012 budget. In this regard, we are making history, as the masses will, for the first time, be making a direct contribution into our budgetary process in Ekiti State. We are convinced that for our transformational agenda to gain traction, it must be driven by institutions and a workforce that are merit-based, focused, and responsive. This is what the SPRM will help us achieve through a forensic, clinical assessment, and in-depth appraisal of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, as well as the nature and intensity of the institutional gaps in governmental processes and procedures. Let me emphasize our determination to turn the fortune of our people around for the better, since the overall growth and development of Ekiti State is what we promised, and it is what we're committed to achieve. It is my hope that this workshop, which began yesterday with a technical session, would beam its searchlight on gaps such as lack of delivery capacity, budgetary errors, weak project monitoring and evaluation, need prioritization and assessment, lack of sectoral key performance indicators, the extent to which we're meeting our MPD targets, and absence of maintenance culture. These are critical areas of interventions where help is needed to drive and deepen our development agenda of making poverty history in Ekiti State. As you are aware, the Nigerian Governors Forum is a body of elected governors of all the states of the Federation with a mission to provide a platform for collaboration irrespective of party affiliation. The National Economic Council, in recognition of the mandate of NPF in 2007, resolved that the forum should assume responsibility for developing and implementing a state peer review mechanism. As someone who has been involved in the peer review process at the continental and national levels, there should be no reason not to expect my state to be in the driving seat of this process. The objective of the SPRM is to assist federating states in Nigeria to accelerate the pace of their development through periodic review of progress in the implementation of the development policies, plans, and programs. It is a cooperative, non-adversarial, rather than a competitive initiative. I do take the note of the point made by the PFID representative that healthy competition is also welcome, and we're not afraid of that in Ekiti. Through this collaboration, states will be able to learn from their peers about innovative and good practices that they could adapt and adopt. Already, that process is ongoing at a rather informal level among states in the Southwest zone. Well, looking to Lagos for its great strides in effective budget implementation. To Ondo State next door for its strides in maternal health. To Osun for its unique youth employment scheme. And all of us in the Southwest are looking up to Ekiti for our social security for senior citizens and our public service reform. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the following are the core service delivery sectors that will form the basis of the SPRM in Ekiti State: health, education, agriculture, economic development, environment, gender empowerment, infrastructure, and ICT. I am convinced that in driving our development agenda, there is a compelling need to foster the adoption of policy, standards, and practices that will lead to stability, high economic growth, and sustainable development. It is my belief that this workshop will assist us in charting the path for sustainable development of our dear state. The choice of Ekiti as one of the pilot states for this scheme is a demonstration of confidence in and support for our modest efforts at repositioning the state as a benchmark for good governance and accountability, and our steely resolve to tackle poverty head-on. I'm convinced that the technical sessions have exposed participants to the nuances of effective service delivery and good governance, and they will be our change agents after the workshop at their respective duty posts as we embark on this paradigm shift of deepening prosperity and putting smiles on the faces of our people. In conclusion, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me express my profound gratitude to all the stakeholders for attending this workshop. I also promise our continuous support for the SPRM initiative in Ekiti State, and I wish you a very fruitful deliberation to the glory of God and the benefit of Ekiti people. Thank you. God bless you.